First of all, let me download Protect File package. I will go to service portal safenetinc.com. I will log on with my credentials. If you don't have one, please reach out to customer services and they can establish one for you and send you registration email. On the main screen, we need to type a specific download for the package. What we need here would be DOW 4287. I click on search and click on download. Entire package includes two main folders. One is documentation that include user guide, administrative guide, quick start guide, and CRN. Second one is a build itself. I'm ready to run this file. It's a relatively simple setup process. This is the question that asks you if you already created some configuration on KeySecure or you still did not. So in my case, I will run Bootstrap process later on. So let me just place all files on the hard drive. Now I need to take some information about this server. I need IP address for the file server, and I'm going to define this file server on my KeySecure as valid client. But actually, before I do it, let me real quick create folders that we're going to use. So I will create a new folder. And let me make it new folder, human resources, and then we maybe have finance. So we have two resources here. Let me go to KeySecure and make some preparation there. This part of the video will focus on activities you need to do on KeySecure to enable file server being contacted KeySecure and policy being applied on the files, encryption and access policies. Everything started with service initiation. So I click on initiate. My service activated on the KeySecure. Very next thing that I would like to do, maybe to create a few keys. So when I go and I create key, I have two interfaces. One is a normal key creation, but here I want to create specific protect key file. I know I'm going to protect some human resources shares and financial shares. So this is the way how I'm going to call my keys. You can see those are symmetric keys, active stage. Now I'm going to define the policy that I will apply on file server. I'm going to create a client profile. So I click on file servers and then client profile. I call this profile maybe Windows servers, Windows file server. I have IP address of my KeySecure. If I have a failover server, I will specify a secondary IP address here. All rest I can leave as it is, and I will create on, I click on create. I have a profile. So this is what protect file agent will receive at the moment I connect my server to KeySecure. This is where it will learn where his KeySecure is and what information he needs to provide to KeySecure. Next, I'm going to create a file server. I need to define my file server. So I will call it Windows file server, and I will give it IP address. Port I can run with the default port. I need to specify Windows or Linux, and I click on add. My server created, still no shared secret between two. I'm going to generate a shared secret, and I'm going to use the shared secret on my file server. So let me copy it. Now I'm going to command line. If you remember, I already installed protect file application, and now I need to run bootstrapping command. So this is my KeySecure IP address. All right, before I click on Bootstrap, I also want to point attention on firewall rules, and specifically because we're utilizing predefined port. To enable communication on this port, I created this rule, and this rule enable specific port 2003 to be accessed from outside. Once I have it in place, I can click on Bootstrap. Communication happen between a file server and KeySecure. This is how successful Bootstrap looks like. If I go back to file server now, you will see the difference between status, and now it says up to date. If I click on server again, the status says connected. The connected status means that KeySecure can communicate to agent and receive a file structure and folder structure. So now I want to apply specific encryption policies on the folder. I can click on browse, and I can see folders that protect file agent report back. So here we have our shared folders. I can select human resources. Next. Now also I can select what key to use, how my approach going to be to file my encryption. And the last part is to use a policy. I can link to existing policy, or I can create just a new policy. So let me create a new policy. I will click on save. And under access policies, I can create additional policies. So right now, nobody will have an access to this folder. So if I click on add, and I know that we're talking about human resources. So let's say I have a group, human resources group, in my domain. And these people, they need to have full access to the files. Now also it might be a situation that I have a backup application that need to backup files. Backup service. This is the user. Now the nature of backup The backup application does not need to see file in clear. It needs only to get an access to files and still be able to process them while the files are encrypted. So this is the policy that I created. Everybody who is a part of Human Resources Group will have a full access to the files. Additional user backup service will have an access, but only to encrypted files, and nobody else, include domain admin, storage admin, virtualization admin, enterprise admin, nobody will get an access to this server. Right now you can see it's no key been applied and it's still pending on enforcement. So how I do enforce, I click on deploy, and if I refresh the screen, you will see the key being applied and very specific folder that we created here being encrypted. Now if I double click, I suppose not to be able to access this folder because as administrator I was not defined in those rules. Exactly in the same way, you can add a different folder. You can add a finance folder, share folders, finance, I would say select, and exactly same concept. You select the file, you select how the migration will happen, you select what policy you want to use, but let's create a new one. So this is my financial department. You can create a policy in place. Let me show you how you can create shared policies that you can reuse down the road. So if this is going to be my set of policies, I would create one. I will call it Finance Department on Windows. I click on Add. So I have Finance Department, and now I can structure this policy exactly as I wanted. So I have one, I have finance, domain. Usually under domain is going to be the actual name or domain name for your organization. So you can see here I have a backup service first, finance down. I can replace them. Default rule going to be always the last one. Go back to shared policies. Now if I will go to files, I see my file server. I see my shared folder. And now I can, because I selected that I want to use existing policy. Now if I want to edit or link, if I don't want to choose anything and I want to accept it as it is, or I want to copy and then modify down the road. So if I link and I do finance department, I click on save. I cannot edit, and all this policy already been implied here. Coming back to Windows Server itself, I see this one not applied yet, so I can select it and click on deploy, or I can stay whenever I am, click deploy all, click on confirm, and after refresh we will see that additional policy been applied, migration in process, as you can see. Click on refresh, and a second folder encrypted as well. So me as administrator, I cannot access this folder as well. So just to recap, on Windows machine, we install protect file for Windows. We took care of firewall rule to enable port 8003. 8003 come as a part of profile that we created for a specific server. And then all configuration, rest the configuration we did on KeySecure. We defined server, we generated shared secret, and this button is not available anymore. Once we have a connection between KeySecure and the file server, we were able to see entire structure of files, and then on each folder, shared folder, we were able to apply certain permission set based on shared access policy that we can create and reuse for different servers, or we can create one per each folder. This concludes this video. Thank you for watching.